Welcome inside Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana for WCBN sports coverage of Michigan basketball alongside Evan Osterly. I'm Leo Blavin as we get you set for tip-off between the Indiana Hoosiers and the Michigan Wolverines. Indiana entering this game at 15-10, Michigan 15-9, but 0-6 on the road. Evan, how do the Wolverines change that today?
Well, it's going to have to start with Zach Irvin. He's had a rough few games dating back to the first Michigan State game and then the Ohio State game. And even in the win against Michigan State, he shot just 1 of 5 from the field. His defense has been great, but he's a senior. He's from Indiana. This is his last chance to play in this building against the Indiana Hoosiers, and he needs to have a big game.
It's not only his last game at Assembly Hall, his last game in the Hoosier State, the Big Ten tournament in Maryland this year, or I should say Washington, D.C., to be more specific, and Michigan not traveling to Mackey Arena to play at Purdue. So his last chance to get a win in the Hoosier State. It's been a place where wins have been tough to come by for the Wolverines. Michigan traveling outside the Mitten State for the first time since January 17th. However, the Wolverines 1-15 in the past 16 tries in Bloomington, dating back to 1997. Their lone win coming back in 2009, a 72-66 win in overtime. Meanwhile, Indiana has gone ice cold of late, losing 4 of their last 5. What's going wrong for the Crimson and Cream?
Well, they suffered a big injury to OG Anunoby, and he's out for the season. James Blackman also got injured against Michigan, actually, the first game between the two, which Michigan won by 30 at home. And that has really hurt the Hoosiers, the injuries. Thomas Bryant, obviously an NBA prospect. He's a really good player, a sophomore, probably going to leave early after this year. James Blackman is back. And because of those losses, I mean, this is a team that beat Kansas and North Carolina in non-conference play, yet they're 15-10, 5-7 conference, and really on the bubble. So they need to win this game, and they need to win most of their remaining games in order to secure a spot in the NCAA tournament.
Michigan starters will be the same as they usually are. Derek Walton Jr., Muhammad Ali, Abdul Rahman, Zach Irvin, DJ Wilson, and Moritz Wagner. For the Indiana Hoosiers, it'll be Josh Newkirk, James Blackman Jr., Robert Johnson, Juwan Morgan, and Thomas Bryant. Juwan Morgan, a guy we didn't get to see a lot of in the first meeting because of an injury. He's back and healthy. What difference can he make for Indiana?
Well, he's going to provide more size. And Michigan, early in the game against Indiana at home, was dominating on the glass. A lot of great defense, denying the ball from Thomas Bryant inside. Juwan Morgan's going to provide another inside presence. Because Michigan starts 2 big men with DJ Wilson and Mo Wagner, which is very unlike most B-line teams. Most teams have to match up with a second big man, and Juwan Morgan is going to provide that for the Hoosiers today.
James Blackman has really suffered since his lower leg injury versus Michigan when these two teams met on January 26th. How can the Hoosiers get him active offensively early on in this game?
Well, he's a really good shooter, but I think it has to start with a pick-and-roll game with Thomas Bryant. Bryant, great big man. He can shoot. He can spread the floor. So I think they have to get Blackman and Bryant in situations where they can go 2-on-2 against Derek Walton and Mo Wagner early and often. Otherwise, James Blackman is going to have a tough day if he's just going to rely on his jump shot. And I think the same goes for Zach Irvin on the other side. He's got to get some easy buckets to the rim because his jump shot has been so sporadic recently.
The crowd continuing to file in here at Assembly Hall. They're expecting a sellout of 17,222, including the largest student section in all of collegiate basketball. It's not full yet, but it certainly will be loud this afternoon. A 1 o'clock tip here locally in Bloomington, Michigan, in their road blue uniforms with the maize numbers and the block M's on the shorts. They'll start this game operating from left to right. Meanwhile, Indiana in their home green uniforms with the crimson numbers. Just seconds away from tip-off here. The crowd all on their feet in anticipation. This is a big game for both these sides, both battling right now for those coveted spots in the NCAA tournament. Both teams currently find themselves on that bubble, and the loser of this game likely faces an uphill battle that may be too tough to overcome. Indiana certainly can't afford to lose the 2-game series to Michigan this year. Their previous meeting, Michigan won 90-60, and that came just a couple of weeks ago in Ann Arbor. DJ Wilson and Thomas Bryant ready for the tip.
Must-win game for both teams.
Certainly is. The jump ball is up. DJ Wilson gets it, and we are underway. Michigan going to work from left to right. Zach Irvin with the basketball in front of Tom Crean. Top of the key now, Moritz Wagner. Wagner patiently feeds Irvin. Irvin back to Wagner, who cut baseline, and his reverse lay-in does not go.
Wagner had a good look. He's got to finish that at the rim. There was nobody there to block that shot.
Newkirk back the other way for the Hoosiers, working from right to left. Thomas Bryant had 23 points against Purdue on Thursday, going toe-to-toe with Caleb Swanigan, and he loses the basketball here. Moritz Wagner bringing it the other way, 3-on-2. Up ahead to Rockman. The far outlet pass allows a tracking Walton to try a triple, and he hits it.
And that started with active hands from Wagner on defense. He's denied the ball really well the last few games from all the big men he's faced.
The Hoosiers, no delay, getting back the other way, but Juwan Morgan's lane doesn't go, and up ahead, Rockman all alone, and he gets it to go with two hands at the rim.
Transition offense has been important for the Wolverines during Big Ten play, and we see that right away here with some quick buckets on transition.
Michigan off to a quick 4-0 start here with 18:45 left to go in the opening half of play. Robert Johnson feeds Morgan just inside the three-point arc. 5 on the shot clock, getting inside and having his shot altered by DJ Wilson is Newkirk, who tracks in his own rebound, feeds a cutting Morgan at the basket, who throws it off the glass for 2.
Well, Indiana's had a really difficult time getting anything going in the half-court offense, but they got an easy bucket there after the play.
Zach Irvin with it at the other end for Michigan. He's caught between two Hoosiers, and they're going to get a grab on one of the two defenders. It appears it'll be Josh Newkirk, his first, team first.
We haven't seen much of Michigan in the half-court offense yet, but if Zach Irvin can get involved and be a difference maker, play at a level similar to that of Derek Walton, it'll be a really good look for Michigan, not just today, but moving forward down the stretch in this season, the Big Ten tournament, and potentially an NCAA tournament.
The Wolverines on top 5-2 with just under 18 minutes to go. Wilson left alone for 3. From the other side where Walton hit it moments ago, too strong.
Kind of settled for that shot there. Michigan can get better looks in the half court than a DJ Wilson 3.
James Blackman looking for his first basket of the game as his path to the basket cut off. The first to Thomas Bryant, who's hounded by Muhammad Ali Abdurrahman, forcing the Hoosier offensive reset, 10 on the shot clock.
Michigan's defense making sure Bryant doesn't get the ball down in the post.
Newkirk drives inside. Wilson gets shouldered and concedes the layup.
Well, Michigan denying the ball from Thomas Bryant, but it's opening up holes for Indiana's guards to drive through as they've gotten both of their buckets easy down low.
Michigan still on top 5-4 with 17-12 to play. Wagner has his shot rejected by Bryant, tries to recollect it, unable to do so. Blackman pushing pace the other way for Indiana. Gets to the basket as it's stripped away by Rockman. It went off the foot of Blackman, out of bounds, ball to Michigan. The first or second turnover of the game for Indiana.
And really good transition defense right there from the Wolverines. Walton stripped James Blackman as he was going up, and what could have been a big momentum swing early for Indiana after being down 5-0. Walton makes a play, and it's back the other way.
Michigan 2 for 5 from the field here early on with a 5-4 lead, 16:45 to go in the first half. They work it around the perimeter. Irvin with a hand in his face tries a triple short. Rebound, Walton Jr., who gets the lay-in to go.
And we saw Indiana get an easy bucket off an offensive rebound, and now Derek Walton does the same for the Wolverines.
Michigan forcing Indiana to move it around the perimeter. Down low, Juwan Morgan. Facing up with DJ Wilson on the left block. Spin move. Pretty footwork to get the scoop shot up and through.
Interesting that Thomas Bryant hasn't really spent much time trying to get the ball down low on the post. They've put Juwan Morgan down there and used Thomas Bryant more as a facilitator at the top of the key.
Both teams still trying to feel each other out with 60 minutes to go in the first half. Michigan on top 7-6. Zach Irvin feeds it into the far corner. Wilson, no one to contest him. Baseline, and he goes in with a two-handed stop.
Well, Irvin missed his first shot pretty badly, but they're a great find, and his defense and his passing have both been great, even when his shooting hasn't been there. So hopefully he can continue contributing for the Wolverines, even if his jump shot isn't following.
And no one stepped up for Indiana to deny DJ Wilson's path to the basket. Michigan's got a 9-6 lead with 15:50 to go. Bryant will try a three at the other end. Too strong. Rebound by Zach Irvin.
And Bryant's an improved perimeter shooter, but he's not good enough to be taking that shot.
Irvin will try a three at the other end. Perhaps not good enough to take that shot either, and he misses it.
You can tell that Zach Irvin really wants this game. It's probably emotionally charged for him.
Bryant misses a lay-in, an easy one at the other end. And Wagner fights hard for the rebound.
Good box up by Wagner right there, preventing another offensive rebound for Indiana.
Wilson with it, near side. Back up top to Walton Jr. The Wolverines setting up the offense. A high screen from Wagner, well hedged by Bryant. Walton trapped in the corner, just gets it away to Rockmon. 5 on the shot clock. Rockmon trapped baseline. They're going to get a blocking foul on Thomas Bryant. I think he used a bit too much of the hip on that foul. And Tom Crean, none too pleased. We'll head to a timeout on the floor. 14:42 left to go in the first half. Michigan on top, 9-6. What have you seen in the early moments of this game?
Well, Indiana offensively is leaving Juwan Morgan against DJ Wilson down on the block. They obviously believe in Morgan as a true big man. Thomas Bryant being used more as a facilitator. We saw him take a long three that he missed, but it'll be interesting to see if Thomas Bryant does end up going down low. They might be waiting for a better matchup when Mo Wagner leaves the game and Mark Donnell or John Teskey comes in. And on the other end, on that last possession, we saw Thomas Bryant switch off and double team Derek Walton and Muhammad Abdur-Rahman, and Mo Wagner had nobody on him. He should have cut to the basket, and he didn't. I don't understand why Mo Wagner didn't cut to the basket with Thomas Bryant off of him.
Indiana 3 of 7 from the field. Michigan 4 of 9 here early on. 5 points off turnovers already for the Wolverines. One key stat we're going to have to look at throughout this game is how these teams go to work on the glass. Right now, the Hoosiers out-rebounding the Wolverines 5-4. 1 offensive rebound for both sides. Zach Irvin struggles have been well documented, but why is he so important even when he's unable to get points on the board for his team?
Well, he plays the three, and that's generally a very important matchup on both ends. And Zach Irvin plays such good defense. He shut down Miles Bridges for much of the game on Tuesday against Michigan State. And that's just so important as a perimeter defender. You look at the smaller guards in Walton and Abdur-Rahman, there has to be a premier perimeter defender, and that's Zach Irvin. And then on the offensive end, his passing and his vision. He's a senior. He's been in this program. He knows John Beilein's offense. He knows where to look, and he makes good passes. I mean, it was a long pass to J.D. Wilson, a little bit high, but he still found the open man, and it led to an easy basket.
Michigan has yet to trail in this game. However, we saw in their last game against Indiana, they shot the lights out. It was really almost an unfair advantage, and we didn't get a sense of how these teams match up just because Michigan shot the ball so well. When you look on paper, assuming Michigan can't shoot 70% in this game, how do these teams match up?
Well, both teams have arguably their best player being at the 5 this year with Mo Wagner for Michigan. He's been fantastic offensively, and Thomas Bryant for Indiana. And so that's going to be a key matchup, I think, down the stretch in this game, even though neither player's really got it going offensively in the first 5 minutes of this game. But size-wise, there's not really a big advantage. Both teams start 2 bigs and 3 guards. Indiana might have a little bit more talent, but Michigan isn't far behind. And like you said, Michigan's probably not going to shoot 70% again, but whichever team shoots hotter might win this game.
14:42 left to play in the first half. Michigan with the basketball on top, 9-6 here at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana on the Michigan Basketball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM Ann Arbor. Zach Irvin will inbound it back to midcourt. Derek Walton Jr. now with the basketball.
See if Mo Wagner can't get involved here.
Wagner gets that pass that you ordered for, but his shot contested at the rim, and he's unable to finish.
2 times Wagner's had a pretty good look at the rim and unable to finish early on.
A nice feed by Walton Jr., getting Wagner in stride towards the basket, but it just was unsuccessful. And Michigan will force another turnover. Good hands by Rockmon, who had his back to the basketball in the pass in the direction of Curtis Jones. was deflected by Rockman. As soon as he went to pick up the basketball, Jones had it secured, but with 1 foot out of bounds on the sideline. Ball back to Michigan. Turnover number 3 for the Hoosiers.
And again, Thomas Bryant catching the ball outside the three-point line. I feel like Indiana's just setting up Michigan's defense for success by not trying to get him the ball down low or at least inside the three-point line where he can be a threat to drive to the basket.
Bryant responsible now for 2 turnovers with just 6 minutes gone in this first half. Rockman driving to the basket through contact, feeds it out from 15 feet away. His jumper is pure.
And that's one of Mark Donnell's best strengths is the mid-range jumper. He can provide some offense in that way.
Josh Newkirk thought about driving quickly to the basket. Instead, thought better of it and circles back towards the State of Indiana silhouette at midcourt. Now we'll try to drive baseline. Gets into the painted area, feeds another cutter. This time Freddie McSwain unable to hang on. Turnover number 4. Michigan looking to capitalize once again off the turnover. They've already got 7 points off the turnovers. However, Michigan will be saddled with their first, an offensive foul. They're going to get a hip check against DJ Wilson. A blocking foul, his first, team first. And James Blackman quickly back in. Robert Johnson will take a seat. He's joined by Newkirk, Thomas Bryant, Freddie McSwain Jr.,
and Duncan Robinson immediately into the game for the Wolverines as Wilson picks up his first foul.
Curtis Jones out there for the Hoosiers as well as he comes to collect the basketball.
Points off turnovers were crucial for Michigan in the last win. Despite the hot shooting, that was still a big factor in already winning that battle.
Newkirk will try a triple off the front of the rim. McSwain with the offensive rebound feeds Bryant on the left block. Bryant spins and stuffs it home with 2 hands. An athletic move from Thomas Bryant, just out-muscling Mark Donnell to get his positioning inside the painted area.
And Bryant's first touchdown low, just like we talked about earlier. Mo Wagner goes out of the game, a better matchup with the worst defender in Mark Donnell, and they give it to Thomas Bryant, gets the offensive rebound and turns it into an easy 2.
Michigan leads 11-8. Irvin gets the and-one opportunity through the contact. He lays it with a finger roll off the glass. Michigan leads 13-8 with 12:34 to go in the first period of play.
And possibly a very big confidence booster for Zach Irvin. He gets to the basket there with the strong finish, and if he just has the confidence to drive to the basket, he's an excellent player when he gets going towards the hoop. He doesn't just have to shoot jump shots to be effective offensively.
It's Irvin's first basket of the game. In his last 5 games, he's averaged just 7 points per game while shooting 28% from the field. But as you said, this could be a big confidence booster. He gets the free throw to boot. And Michigan's lead is up to 14-8 with 12.5 to go in this first half. Xavier Simpson gets in, and we talked about this before the game. Important to see if he can eat up some of Derek Walton Jr.'s minutes, as Walton Jr. has done everything for Michigan over these past 5 games.
Yeah, Derek Walton has been the best player on the team, just willing the team to a couple of victories, playing outstanding on the offensive end, grabbing defensive rebounds. And Xavier Simpson, a young freshman, pretty good on defense, but if he can continue his offensive abilities that he put on display for the first time really this season against Michigan State, they'll be really big for the Wolverines going
Ron
forward.
Davis at the other end through contact. He lays it in from 3 feet out, and just no match for Mark Donnell. Deron Davis, the true freshman out of Colorado, goes to work from just underneath the basket, a little fader through the contact.
And Indiana attacking Mark Donnell down low. That's 2 possessions in a row. And right away, a substitution, and John Teskey in for Mark Donnell.
John Teskey, one of these freshmen who, as of late, has seen a lot more of an increased role, along with Xavier Simpson. The free throw from Davis rattles home. The lead back down to 3 for Michigan. 12 minutes to play in this first half. Xavier Simpson, John Teskey, Duncan Robinson, Zach Irvin, and Muhammad Ali Abdurrahman on the floor for Michigan. And an off-ball foul, and they're going to get Freddie McSwain grabbing Duncan Robinson as he cut towards the basket. 11:59 left to go in the first half. Michigan on top, 14-11. There's a timeout on the floor. What do you make of this? Michigan, as the season has progressed now, it appears John Beilein getting more and more comfortable allowing some of these freshmen to get significant minutes both at home and on the road in conference play.
Well, I think with Xavier Simpson, it starts with the fact that Derek Walton is just so important to this team that he can't play 35 minutes every single night because they're going to need him down the stretch. They're going to need him to be fresh. And he does everything for this team. Like you said, he plays a lot of minutes, but Xavier Simpson has to take on more of that true backup point guard role that we saw with Spike Albrecht behind Trey Burke and Derek Walton the last 4 or 5 years in this program. It's really essential. And then with John Teske, true 7-footer, solid on the defensive end. Obviously, a lot of growth that he'll need to have on the offensive end, but Martinel's defense, he's just struggled so much on that end that John Teske's needed to take on a new role.
As you look at the stretch of games here for Michigan, 5 of their last 7 are going to be on the road, and that travel can take a grind on players' bodies. So it's extremely important for Michigan, obviously, to get these freshmen more minutes and find ways to get rest for their veterans, because Derek Walton Jr. just simply can't keep playing 33 minutes a game, averaging over 22 points per game, and expect him to carry that throughout March. If Michigan has hopes of competing in the Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament as well.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And Walton obviously is going to be the key player going forward. He's been the best player on the team this season, and he needs to play big minutes down the stretch. But like you said, 5 of the last 7 on the road, and he's going to rack up a lot of minutes in those games, but as many solid minutes as Xavier Simpson can give you if you're John Beilein, that's just great for Derek Walton's rest. And you look at John Teske, he needs to produce more on offense, but I think you're going to see him a lot more in games when Mo Wagner and DJ Wilson take breaks or are in foul trouble, just because of his defensive ability, which has been such a key for this Wolverines team this year. When they play good defense, they tend to be in games and have a much better chance to win.
Michigan shooting 50% from the field, and they've already forced 4 Indiana turnovers. In the first meeting this year, Indiana turned the ball over 16 times while Michigan turned it over just 6, and the turnovers already playing a factor here. It'll be Michigan basketball out of this timeout. 11:59 left to go here in the first half of play. Michigan on top of Indiana, 14-11. Teske, Robinson, Walton Jr., Simpson, and Urban on the floor for Michigan. For the Hoosiers, Zach McRoberts, James Blackman Jr., Curtis Jones, Jawan Morgan, and on the far side, it's Deron Davis. Michigan working from left to right. Teske sets a screen for Walton. Robinson found in front of the Indiana bench. Closed quickly, though, by Morgan. 8 on the shot clock. Walton getting by the double team, feeds Teske down low. Teske puts up a shot, well contested, and then he fouls underneath the basket, and that's a freshman mistake right there. Never seen confident underneath the basket despite the clear size advantage.
Yeah, kind of a wild look there from John Teske, and a good look, a good offensive possession. Mo Wagner probably would have turned that into 2 points, but learning curve for John Teske is he's good on defense, but he's got some growth on offense.
At the other end, Teske altering a shot as the dunk attempt appeared open for Morgan. Indiana gets the offensive rebound, but Curtis Jones can't hit the triple. Correction, James Blackman Jr. on that mess. Walton pushing it the other way. Through contact. Top of the key, Robinson left alone from deep. Yes.
And that is what Duncan Robinson does. He just hits threes at a very efficient rate. And he needs to keep producing for Michigan off the bench, which hasn't given them much this season.
Once again, Michigan dangerous in transition. Blackman with it. Has his pass deflected by Robinson, fighting for it. Last touch by Robinson. Indiana will keep it with 14 seconds on the shot clock.
And one noticeable difference in Michigan's defense this season is just the active hands, the active feet, forcing turnovers, tip passes, and give a lot of the credit to Billy Donlin, who came in and revamped this defense for John Beilein.
Teske back out, and right on cue, Thomas Bryant sprints into the action. So Teske out, Wagner in, and Bryant will join him, replacing Deron Davis. Josh Newkirk in there for Curtis Jones as well for the Crimson and Cream. Indiana trailing 17-11 to Michigan with 10:49 to go in the first half. A dangerous outlet pass chased down by Newkirk, who brings it back across the time stripe. 5 on the shot clock. Blackman from 3 off of movement, not able to get it to go. Irvin pushing pace the other way. Blocking foul against Zach McRoberts, and an interesting call there. However, Irvin, I think, was in the right positioning and the aggressor forcing that contact and drawing the foul. Good to see that aggressiveness coming back for the senior from Fishers, Indiana.
Yeah, Simpson learning from the senior Derek Walton a little bit, it looks like, on pushing the ball right away on fast breaks. We've talked about how dangerous this Michigan team is in transition, and Simpson got going right there, right away.
Robinson looking to inbound it. Finds Walton. Walton dribbles top of the key, drives inside, kicks it out to Wilson, who thought about a three. Now he drives inside, kicks to Robinson, open for three. Too strong. Wagner gets the offensive rebound, lays it in off the glass for two.
And how about the effort from Mo Wagner going up against one of the best big men in the conference at Thomas Bryant to grab that offensive rebound and then go up for the strong finish.
Second offensive rebound, Michigan's converted for a bucket. Their lead has grown 19-11 with 10 to go in the first half. Michigan with their largest lead of the game at the moment. Bryant on the left block. Double team coming from the backside. Feeds a cutting Newkirk, who lays it in from 4 feet out.
And that's a really good move by Thomas Bryant. DJ Wilson came over on the double team, and he found the cutting Newkirk for the easy basket.
Wilson, well guarded, defers to his point guard, Walton Jr. Walton with 5 points, leading all Michigan scorers as he's done the past few games. He'll try to add to that, and he does. Bingo from the top of the key for 3.
Derek Walton this whole Big Ten season is just kind of taking on a role where he says, I'm going to carry this team. I'm going to hit big shots. I'm going to do it all. And he's really been excellent for this team.
Walton averaging 22.5 points per game over his last 4. He's got 8 thus far in the first half. Blackman back the other way. Cuts inside, has it poked away. Moritz Wagner able to secure it, but it was the quick hand from Xavier Simpson that forced that turnover. Walton will pull up from the right elbow. His shot blocked. He wanted a foul. None coming. Wraps a heat check there for Walton Jr. Newkirk the other way. Feeds McRoberts. Top of the key. Bryant alone for 3. Too strong. Rebound chased down by Wagner. Michigan could push the pace. Instead, they will slow things down.
And last 2 possessions for both teams, maybe a little bit too rushed. Walton pulling up for a mid-ranger and blocked. And then Thomas Bryant, another 3-pointer and another bad miss for Indiana.
Michigan still shooting 50% from the field. Wilson steps inside from 8 feet out, banks it off the front of the rim, too strong. Newkirk splits the defense, gets to the rim, and lays it by Duncan Robinson off the window.
And not very good transition defense right there for the Wolverines. Nobody ever stopped the ball, and now the crowd's starting to get into it for the first time today, getting on their feet and getting loud.
Michigan still leads 22-15 with the under 8 media timeout coming up next. Screen from Wagner. Walton feeds a cutting Wilson baseline, intercepted by McRoberts. Just the second turnover of the game for Michigan. McRoberts feeds Bryant down low. Spins inside. Lots of contact. It doesn't matter. The big man getting his.
And Thomas Bryant starting to get in this game now, getting the ball down low and finishing. That was a problem last time for Indiana. He's their best player, and he wasn't really involved. And now he's making a difference for the Hoosiers.
Can Michigan come up with a solution? That's the question that John Beilein will ponder. He takes a timeout. 7:19 left to go in the first half. Indiana trailing Michigan here in Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana, by a score of Indiana 17, Michigan 22 on this, the Michigan Basketball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
And Thomas Bryant, early in the game, all of his touches starting outside of the three-point arc, not really doing much. Turned the ball over twice, a couple missed three-pointers, but the last 5 minutes or so, getting the ball down low, being able to facilitate the offense from a position he's obviously much more comfortable in, but finishing at the basket and finding cunning players in Indiana's offense much more effective with Bryant on the inside than the outside.
Michigan and Indiana both shooting 47% from the field. Michigan 3 of 7 from deep. Indiana 0 for 5, and that's really been the only difference in this game, as both teams still feeling each other out as we're well into the first half of play here at the really the mecca of college basketball and basketball in general, the Hoosier State. At Assembly Hall, 17,222 strong in attendance, mostly clad in crimson and cream. Michigan has 2 turnovers, Indiana 5 rebounds, 11-8 in favor of the home side. However, Michigan has 4 second chance points to match the Hoosiers, and if the Wolverines can keep getting those second chance looks, it could be a long day for Indiana.
Yeah, we saw Mo Wagner grab an offensive rebound against Thomas Bryant and finish it for a second chance bucket. Obviously, there are a lot of key matchups on the outside, but down the stretch, Mo Wagner and Thomas Bryant have to be the key guys for both of their teams. And Mo Wagner, aside from that one bucket, not really doing much offensively. He's come up short twice at the rim. He's 1 of 4 from the field, and he needs to get more involved. He's got 3 rebounds, but we've seen him hit jump shots this season. We've seen him do a lot of things, starting with the ball on the outside. And so we'll see if he can start contributing more on the offensive end and take some of the load off Derek Walton.
$7:19 left to go in the first half of play here at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana. Michigan on top of Indiana 22-17. Michigan with the basketball. Both teams shooting 47% from the field. The difference being the Wolverines 4 second chance points and points off turnovers favoring the Wolverines 7-4. Michigan working from left to right. All 5 starters on the floor. Walton, Rockman, Wilson, Wagner, and Irvin out there for the maize and blue. Newkirk, Johnson, Green, Davis, and Bryant out there for Indiana.
And the Indiana crowd is really into the game now for the first time these last few possessions, so we'll see if that becomes a factor.
Irvin at the top of the key wants a screen from Wagner. Gets to the basket. His shot rejected, but he was grabbed going up, and he will head to the line to shoot 2.
And a strong, confident drive there from Zach Irvin. The shot got swatted, but that's promising to see if you're a Wolverines fan, is Zach Irvin just put his head down and got to the bucket.
Newkirk's second foul of this first half. Team foul number 6 for Indiana. Irvin's first free throw bounces 3 times on the orange circle, but it doesn't fall through.
And that's just kind of how it's been going for Zach Irvin. Everything just a little off on his jump shot.
Irvin's shooting woes continuing. He's got 3 points, and he misses both free throws, and that sums up really the past couple months for the senior. Hard to watch at times his offensive struggles, but 2 free throws, I think, about emphasized it as well as any basketball play could. Back the other way come the Hoosiers, down by 5 with 6:40 to play in the first half. Newkirk trying to feed it down low to Deron Davis. Instead, he'll split through all sorts of defense, miss the rim, and that's a shot clock violation. And Michigan forces turnover number 6 for Indiana.
And that was just the strength of Michigan's defense. In the half court, denying the ball from getting inside, and just not letting any teams this season get their regular offensive flow going. Excellent defense from the Wolverines. And if they can keep Thomas Bryant from getting the ball down low, they're going to have a lot of success down the stretch.
Back up top, Wilson left alone, top of the key 3. Absolutely nothing but net.
And that's a big 3 for DJ Wilson. Michigan now 4 of 8 from behind the arc.
Bryant spins into a double team on the far block. Nearly gets it tied up, kicks to a cutting baseline drive from Devontae Green, and his good vision on the floor and his good cut rewarded with a layup.
And that's the second time in the last few possessions where Thomas Bryant has been doubled and found an open cutter for an easy basket.
Assist number 2 for Bryant. Walton nearly trapped at the other end, finds an outlet in Wilson at midcourt. Michigan on top by 6. Irvin from 17 feet out, missed everything on that jumper.
I think he needs to stop shooting. Honestly, it's hard to watch, and he can contribute in other ways, but he's forcing it a little bit.
Irvin now 1 for 4 from the field. His one basket a lay-in through contact. At the other end, a steal negated by a foul on Deron Davis. And I believe they're going to get Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman. Correction, Derek Walton Jr. slapped with that one. His fourth team foul against the Wolverines. Meanwhile, Michigan will be in the 1-and-1 bonus the remainder of the way in the first half. They're going to give a shooting foul to Davis as he heads to the line to shoot two.
Michigan, one of the best teams in the country and not fouling on defense.
Top 5 in the nation, in fact, and fewest fouls per game at just over 14 as a team in each game this season. Some wondered with Billy Donlin coming in sort of as a defensive specialist, the former head coach at Wright State, if Michigan would be more inclined to foul, as under John Beilein they've been so hesitant to get into foul trouble, but it has not been the case, and it hasn't seemed to impact Michigan's ability to perform on the defensive end. The second free throw, no good. So Michigan's lead stays at 5.
Yep, just better defense, still low fouls.
Rahman fouled going up. If continuation was allowed in the collegiate game, that would have been good. Instead, he will go to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. That's foul number 7 on the Hoosiers.
Early foul call there. I mean, Abdur-Rahman finished with the bucket, and he took one step after the foul. That could have gone either way. I understand the call, but...
And I think that's a rule that you likely will see changed at some point in the near future, given all the rule changes made to increase scoring and make the game more fun to watch offensively. I think continuation will be an adjustment made to the collegiate rules in the near future. The front end of the 1-and-1 is through for Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that should have been an and one for Muhammad Abdur-Rahman right there, and like you said, we could see more rule changes. They've overhauled the rule book the last couple off seasons, and it very well could happen again this off season and repeatedly in the future.
Second free throw also good for Rock. The lead for Michigan, 27-20 with 5 minutes to go in the first half of play.
And since Mo Wagner's come back in, Thomas Bryant again standing more on the outside than posting up down low.
A foul against Thomas Bryant. He is slow to get up. He has yet to really show much movement on the floor, and that's a scary sign. Indiana already so depleted in terms of bigs, and just from an injury perspective, Colin Hartman underwent off-season knee surgery. Anunoby, as you mentioned, had a knee surgery earlier this year that prevented him from returning, but a good sign for the Hoosiers as Bryant able to rise to his feet and collect the basketball on the inbound. He's good to go.
Yeah, and James Blackman and Juwan Morgan have also suffered minor injuries. I mean, Indiana's faced a really tough injury bug this year.
Driving baseline, McRoberts had his pass intended for Davis, intercepted by Wilson. Irvin pushing pace the other way. Feeds Rahman from the right elbow extended. He swishes the three. Michigan in transition. Loves those threes from the free throw line extended on each side. And the Wolverines have made Indiana pay for lackadaisical defense in transition. They're 5 of 9 from behind the arc, and a lot of those have come quickly before the shot clock has had much time to tick off.
Yeah, the best time to take three-pointers are in transition when the defense isn't back and can't close out. And Tom Crean furious with his team right there, not getting back. And Michigan 5 of 9 behind the arc, and it's all starting with turnovers and transition offense for the Wolverines.
This will be just a quickie timeout with 4:34 left to go in the first half. We're not in that window where it can be flexed to a full media timeout. So Indiana perhaps trying to double up the rest with a timeout with 4:34 left to go in this first period of action. Michigan on top 30-20. It's the largest lead of the game for Michigan.
And Zach Irvin in transition that last play, it looks like he was going to try to hit Mo Wagner cutting, but he was patient. He waited. He didn't make the tough pass. He waited for an easier one, found Abdur-Rahman in transition for an easy three.
McRoberts at the other end for Indiana, working from right to left. The Hoosiers down by double digits for the first time this afternoon at Assembly Hall, Bloomington, Indiana. Bryant has to come out behind the arc to field the pass. Going to work off the dribble, not his strong suit. He defers, but his pass tipped by Irvin, intercepted by Wilson. Turnover number 7 for the Hoosiers.
Just active hands on defense from Michigan.
Inactive hands at the other end results in a Moritz Wagner three-pointer, and he collides with Tom Crean on his way back. McRoberts left alone, cutting to the basket, feeds Davis, who loses the handle for a moment, goes up strong. His shot block, his putback attempt, no good, but he's fouled and will go to the line to shoot two. Just to recount that, I don't think Wagner shoved Crean. It was just a collision, and when you're 6'10 and just trying to get back on defense, collisions are going to happen. And I think Beeline went over to Crean to just wish him well, try to assure him there was no malicious intent, and I don't think Crean assumed any, but perhaps he'll use that to try to get an edge from his team. They trail by 13, and really the story, Michigan is hitting their open looks from deep, which was the case as well in their first meeting of the year when Michigan shot 55% from behind the arc in the game. They're 60% from deep here, and a lot of them, as you mentioned, have come in transition. What do you notice, though, about Beeline's approach with this offense in transition?
Well, they fill their lanes really well. Everybody knows where they're going, and whoever's got the ball, it's not always a point guard. It's not always Walton or Simpson. Sometimes it's Irvin, sometimes it's Abdur Rahman. But everybody fills their lanes on the outside. The big men cut straight to the basket, and it leaves open shooters on the outside because obviously defenders aren't going to give up the easy layups. And we've seen Abdur Rahman. He hit one a couple minutes ago, and then Mo Wagner. And it's just really effective. I mean, obviously it takes a lot of practice to perfect a fast break. And this team, all five guys in transition offense look fantastic.
Michigan 13 points off turnovers. Is it just Michigan's aggressive defense causing problems right now, or is Indiana being too careless with the basketball?
I think it's a combination of both. I mean, we've talked about Michigan's active hands, just getting in passing lanes, denying the ball, and then Indiana kind of just dribbling around for 10, 15 seconds on the shot clock, and then you get yourself rushing and you make forced passes, you make rush passes, and it leads to easy points on the other end when you turn the ball over and let Michigan run.
Indiana held Purdue to just 29% from deep. Purdue, of course, the best three-point shooting team in the Big Ten. How has Michigan been more successful from deep this afternoon?
Well, it just looks like Indiana's turning the ball over more and not getting back as well. And we talk about the fast break, but also in the half-court offense, I mean, a lot of movement from Michigan, which is always a good sign offensively. And when you get screens and when you make a second and a third pass on a drive to the basket, it really helps your offense flow more smoothly. On the other end, Thomas Bryant, when he gets doubled, is making effective passes. It's just happening a lot less because they're getting so much less going in the regular half-court offense, whereas Michigan, off of regular possessions, is moving a lot more, setting high screens, and attacking 2-3 times in a possession instead of just once under 10 seconds on the shot clock.
.349 left to go in the first half of play. Michigan leading Indiana 33-20. The Wolverines with 13 points off of 7 Indiana turnovers, much like the first game, which Michigan forced 16 IU turnovers. The Wolverines doing it on both ends as Michigan's only turned it over twice thus far. After the foul by Moritz Wagner, Deron Davis will head to the line to shoot two. The front end is through.
And that free throw snaps an 8-0 run for the Wolverines.
Big free throws here. The second one from the 2016 Colorado Mr. Basketball selection is also good. Michigan not hesitating to push it back the other way off the free throw. Wolverines shooting 52% from the field and 60% from deep on 10 attempts. Irvin swings it to Walton, thought about a three, now drives inside, no one at the basket, forces the issue, then gets it to go high off the window.
And we were just talking about Michigan's half-court offense and generating open threes. Now they're pulling out the big men, trying to close out on threes, and Derek Walton blows by Thomas Bryant right there and gets the easy two.
The lead back up to 13, Michigan's largest. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Indiana trying to mount a comeback to get some momentum heading into the locker rooms. Bryant thought about a triple, but he's too well guarded. Davis now going to work on the left block, lowers the shoulder, spins through the contact, his layup circus off the back of the iron, and it had the shooter's touch on it from in close to get it through.
And Indiana went over 3 minutes without a field goal, so see if they can get something going on offense here to get some momentum going into the
Wagner
break.
drives through contact, no foul coming, and I thought there might have been one earned there, and Wagner not able to get the layup through.
Third time Wagner's failed to finish at the rim when he had a relatively good look.
Wagner now just 2 of 6 from the field. Indiana trying to cut the lead to single digits, down by 11 with 2:15 to go in the first half. Johnson feeds Newkirk, driving baseline. His angle underneath the basket, no easy lane to get it through, but Rockman called with the foul, and they're starting to call things tight here at Assembly Hall. That's Rockman's first, team 7th, but it was a shooting foul, so the bonus not a factor here. Newkirk going to the line to shoot 2.
And John Beeline didn't like the call, but it looked like Abdur Rockman did get the wrist of Josh Newkirk.
Newkirk too strong on the first. Cash is in the second one. Michigan's lead down to 10.
See if Michigan could try to get Mo Wagner involved on offense. He has just 2 points so far. Sorry, 5 points. He had a 3-pointer, but 2 of 6 from the field.
Well, lost it trying to dribble behind the back. Johnson pushing it the other way. His pass intercepted. Michigan now with numbers. 4 on 3. Walton kiss it to Wagner. Pump fake. Back to Walton. Walton driving inside from the right elbow. He floated for a moment. Not enough on the shot.
Michigan should have pulled that one back offensively. A little just too much rush in transition. It wasn't there.
Another heat check for Walton, who's been stuck on 10 points for a while. He leads all scorers. Bryant the other way, and he lowered the elbow, extending it to create separation on Wagner. Offensive foul, much to the chagrin of the Crimson and Cream-clad fans here in attendance. For Thomas Bryant, that's foul number 2, team's 8th. But of course, offensive fouls don't result in free throws the other way.
That was excellent defense by Mo Wagner. He moved horizontally and just kept his body in front of Thomas Bryant, drawing the charge.
Bryant, after a stellar night on Thursday against Purdue, in which he had 23 points, his frustration showing with his struggles here early on. He's got just 5. Walton drives baseline. He stepped out of bounds before dishing the pass to Rockman. And just as I was praising Michigan's ball security after that last time out, that's turnover number 4 for Michigan. 2 in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, Michigan, despite having a double-digit lead, needs to take care of the ball and continue to play good defense. Those 2 things have really been consistent for them.
An NBA 3 from Johnson, no good. And Wagner foul going up for the rebounds. Did he have possession? Or was it a loose ball foul? That will determine if he gets to go to the line for the 1-and-1. And it appears that Wagner did have possession before being fouled by Juwan Morgan, his first. Team foul number 9 for Indiana, so Wagner will head to the charity stripe for the 1-and-1.
And Indiana had a couple-minute scoreless drought, and now the Wolverines going through a couple-minute scoreless drought. No points in the last 2:36 for Michigan.
Michigan leads 35-25 with 49.9 seconds left to go in the first half. James Blackman Jr. checking back in as Wagner readies for the 1-and-1. Too much on the first one, and the rebound brought down by Morgan. So Michigan struggling from the free throw line, uncharacteristic. 3 of 6. Michigan came in as the best free throw shooting team in John Beeline's history, and certainly the conference leaders as a team from the charity stripe this season. An outlet pass out of the reach of Newkirk, and that's turnover number 10 for Indiana.
That's really benefited Michigan is they have 13 points off turnovers, and those are all 4-point swings as Indiana doesn't get a chance at a shot, and then Michigan gets easy points on the other end.
Michigan, though, has gone ice cold. They haven't scored in the last 3 minutes, and they'd love to get a basket on this likely the last shot to be taken in the first half. There's a 1 second 1 second differential between the game clock and the shot clock, and the game clock reads 20 seconds to play. So Michigan, it will be the last shot if they want.
Indiana, 3 turnovers in the last minute 36. Just not taking care of the ball whatsoever.
10 seconds to play in the first half. Urban drives. He wants to take this shot. From the left elbow, his 2 short. Rebound finally secured by Newkirk. From half court is Keith. Good as it goes. Too strong off the backboard, and that will close out the first half. A fitting way to end it. A Zach Urban miss. His struggles continue. He's 1 of 5 from the field in this game, but it hasn't mattered. The story's been Michigan defensively forcing 10 turnovers, 13 points off those turnovers, and they lead it 35-25 as we head into the break. Your final thoughts on the first half, Evan?
Well, Michigan this season has done a really good job of limiting opponents' best players, whether it was Nigel Hayes for Wisconsin, Miles Bridges for Michigan State, Thomas Bryant for Indiana. They just key on defense and double team every time they get the ball, and they've been really effective with that defensively in this first half, slowing down Thomas Bryant.
That will do it for the first half of play from Bloomington, Indiana at Assembly Hall. On behalf of Evan Osterley, I'm Leo Blavin. Michigan on top, 35-25. We'll be back in a moment on this, the Michigan Basketball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
and welcome back to WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan men's basketball. Dalton Pataki alongside Evan Osterly. We will be navigating you through this second half as Michigan finds themselves ahead by 10 to the tune of 35-25. Evan, what does Michigan need to do in the second half to hold on and get their first road win of the season?
Well, defensively, they did an excellent job defending Thomas Bryant in the first half. That needs to continue. They need to keep defending down low, denying the ball, having active hands. Indiana 0 of 6 behind the arc. Keep letting them shoot. And then offensively, the transition offense has been great. The half-court offense, not as good. They need to move the ball, keep swinging passes, and try to get to the rim. Indiana's defense will collapse, and then they can kick out for more easy threes. 6 of 10 from behind the arc, but most of those makes coming in transition. So if they can get some more good looks in the half-court offense from behind the arc, it'll be a good sign for the Wolverines.
Now, we were looking during the break, and we saw a statistic. Maybe you can clarify, but I believe it was Zach Irvin was 4 for 28 for just 11 points in his last 4 halves. Was that
Last 7 halves.
Last 7 halves, excuse me, even worse. What can he do in his home state today to maybe turn that around?
I mean, he got to the rim and he made a bucket in the first half, but, I mean, looking at that stat, he's basically going half of a make out of 4 attempts per half, and I don't know. I mean, I said it in the first half.
Does he need to get to the rim? Because he's getting good looks.
Yeah, I said it in the first half when he missed a 2-point jumper, barely grazed the rim. He just needs to stop shooting the ball. He either needs to drive and look to finish or kick out, or just be a facilitator in the offense because his jump shot is broken.
And as someone who has been billed a shooter his entire career, when you go through a funk like this, it is oftentimes hard to come out of it. But hopefully for the Michigan Wolverines and John Beilein, Zach Irvin can find his way out.
And I'll say this, if he does, and if he gets hot down the stretch, Michigan is going to be a very dangerous team and a very tough team to beat because a lot of the other guys are clicking, making their shots, and the defense has been phenomenal.
And really, if it hasn't been for the effort of Zach Irvin's fellow senior, Derek Walton Jr., this Michigan team would be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, he's been excellent. I mean, Leo mentioned a few times in the first half, averaging 22.5 points per game over his last several, and he's been the key. He rebounds defensively, he runs fast breaks, he gets assists, he's active on defense, and he just leads the charge on both ends.
And to just recap where we left off at the half, Michigan was on a 3-minute, 25-second scoring drought, but Indiana on a 2-minute scoring drought of their own. Both offenses looking to snap out of that funk. Seems to be the theme of halftime is just a bunch of players not offensively doing what they need to. Let's see if that scoring can pick up as both teams are now on the floor. It looks like starting lineups are the same for both. Walton Jr., Marr, Irvin, Wilson, Wagner for Michigan, and Newkirk, Blackman Jr., Johnson, Morgan, and the ever-dangerous Thomas Bryant for the Hoosiers. It will be Indiana ball to start. Indiana will be moving left to right across your radio dial. Michigan in their blues, Indiana in their whites, as Newkirk has it to start the second half.
See how involved the crowd is in this half. Not the normal Indiana basketball crowd that we've come to expect.
And now a 3 from Newkirk, front iron, no good, tipped around, and it's going to go out of bounds. Last touched by the Hoosiers. They're going to say it went off Juwan Morgan. Michigan will get the ball back.
And I'm not sure if the crowd wanted a foul there, but it looks like it pretty clearly went off of Morgan out of bounds.
Yeah, as we see the replay on the monitors up here, it was quite clear off of Morgan. Irvin now has it along the left wing. He's working. Gets to the left block. Tosses out for Derek Walton Jr. Derek Walton Jr. has it up top. 13 seconds on the shot clock.
Dangerous pass there from Irvin, but a good catch by Walton.
9-8 to Wagner. Wagner for 3, no good. Rebound Wilson. Wilson loses it, though, as it was tipped out by Blackman Jr. Blackman Jr. now has it, bringing it all the way up to the lane. Flips it off the iron, no good. Rebound Wagner. Now Walton Jr. the other way, quickly over to Irvin. Irvin driving baseline, kicks out to Marr. Marr for three, up, no good. Front iron gets his own rebound. Kicks it over to Irvin now. Irvin for three, back iron, no good. Rebound Marr again. And now Michigan's going to pull out and set up the offense. 35-25, 18:45 to go here in the second half.
Some rough offense for both teams to start the half. And another miss by Zach Irvin from behind the arc.
Marr has it now up top. It's a screen from DJ Wilson. Has Johnson defending him, dumps into Wagner. Wagner going to work all the way across the lane. Ball gets stripped out. Going to say it's off Wagner. Ball goes over to Indiana now.
And a couple of offensive rebounds for the Wolverines, but can't put the ball in the basket. Neither team scoring already a minute and a half into the second half.
Scoring drought continuing for both teams. Michigan up over 4 minutes. Indiana up over 3. Johnson has it over to Newkirk. Newkirk and Johnson playing a little back and forth ball as Johnson hands it off to Blackman Jr. over to Newkirk now. Newkirk has it 13, 12, 11. Now into the corner for Bryant. Bryant for three, rattles front iron off backboard, no good. Ball tipped around, finally corralled in by Marr as he leads the offense.
And every time Thomas Bryant starts with the ball outside the three-point line, it seems like he either turns the ball over or misses a three-point shot. So Michigan's got to keep denying him the ball inside and forcing him to start outside.
Marr has it, dribble drive, kick out to Walton Jr. Over to Wagner. Wagner for three, back iron, no good. Rebound Newkirk, tipped away, but gathered back in by Newkirk. He goes all the way in and goes around Zach Irvin for an easy two.
And Zach Irvin turning his back for just that split second as Newkirk accelerated past out to Rockman. Now the crowd getting on their feet. Michigan needs a bucket here.
And the first 2 points to the half have been scored on that Newkirk bucket. Walton Jr. has it up top. He passes to DJ Wilson. Wilson for three. Front iron, no good. Rebound Wagner. He's going to get passed around and out to Walton Jr. now as they set up the offense.
Michigan 6 of 10 from behind the arc in the first half, 60%, but they've missed their first 5 3-pointers in the second half.
Walton Jr. now on the left side. He has it with 10 on the shot clock. Gets a screen from Wagner. Working, middle of the lane, pull up, 15-footer, back iron, no good. Rebound, Blackman Jr. As he pushes it ahead now to Johnson. Johnson working. And he's going to get called for a push-off on Derek Walton Jr. The Indiana faithful are not happy. Let's see the replay.
I don't know about that one.
I'm not sure about that call. I think Tom Crean might have a legitimate beef with the officials here on that call.
Walton definitely was not set for a second, and he kind of jumped into the play. I mean, I really don't know about that one.
Walton Jr. now feeds it into Wilson, back out to Walton Jr. He receives a screen from Wagner, kicks it to him, who kicks over to the corner, Zach Irvin. Zach Irvin misses the three, no good. Rebound Johnson up to Newkirk. And now a similar play to the Blackman play, but this time Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman is going to get charged with a block. Not a bad foul, though, for the Michigan Wolverines.
No, it allows Michigan to get in their half-court defense where they've been really strong so far today. But the offense so far in the second half for Michigan has been
non-existent. Almost Michigan has yet to score.
Abysmal. I mean, they're getting open looks, but nobody feeling it, I guess. I mean, it looks like the first team to score 50 points is going to win this game with the way these teams are shooting the ball.
Duncan Robinson has checked in for DJ Wilson, maybe adding a little more offense to that lineup. Now the ball stolen away, but goes out of bounds as Derek Walton Jr. can't corral the loose ball. It will stay with Indiana, 15 on the shot clock.
Walton had a chance to turn that into a 2-on-1 for Michigan, but unable to convert, make it a fast break. Really unfortunate for the Wolverines, who need a bucket, and they've gone 4 minutes in the second half now without putting the ball in the basket.
It would have been a 2-on-1, which you got to like your chances there, as they are wiping up some wet spots on the floor. You have to wonder why Thomas Bryant hasn't been featured in the post that much today. He's been electing to maybe go more of the outside role.
Yeah, the only time he's gotten the ball down lower when Mark Donnell came into the game for Mo Wagner. I don't know if Tom Crean just doesn't like the matchup with Mo Wagner down low, but seems very hesitant to go down low. And Bryant out of the game right now for Robert Johnson, who has 8 points for the Hoosiers.
Juwan Morgan now shoots a 3 with Duncan Robinson in his face. No good. Rebound Walton Jr.
Excuse me, that's Robert Davison for Thomas Bryant.
DWJ goes, kicks out to Wagner. Wagner dead on 3. That one's down. First points for the Wolverines this half extends their lead back to double digits, 38-27, 15-30 to go here in the game.
I guess third time's the charm for Mo Wagner. That third look from the same spot in the second half, he finally hits a 3.
Davis now working with Wagner on him. He goes up, flips it up, and one as he gets the friendly roll. Nice move there by Davis to work from left to right across that lane and drawing the foul. So,
go ahead.
Back to a single-digit lead. Michigan leads 38-29 with the free throw coming. Could that Mo Wagner 3 spark the offense?
Well, I think it needs to, because Indiana is starting to get some penetration inside this Michigan defense in the half court, something they didn't have in the first half. And so Michigan coming out cold as ice in the second half, needs to get some ball movement, needs to start knocking down their open shots if they're going to hold on to this lead.
That's Michigan now shooting only 40%. 7 of 17 from threes. Indiana, a staggering 0 of 9 from the three-point line. Don't know if I've seen a college team shoot that poorly from beyond the long line in a while.
Yeah, it's been a rough go for the Hoosiers from behind the arc. And when they're not making threes and losing the turnover battle and the rebound battle is close, I mean, those are 3 key areas of college basketball. And to not be winning any of them is not a great sign for the Hoosiers.
Michigan with plenty of offensive rebounds this half. 4 come to mind, giving them 6 total on the day. Indiana with 4. But Michigan with only 4 second chance points, as we saw the possession with 3 attempts and 2 offensive rebounds, resulting in no points. The Hoosiers, like I said, 4 offensive rebounds leading to 6 second chance points. The Hoosiers looking for a spark of offense themselves, whether that come in the form of Thomas Bryant going to work inside the post, which I still don't see how him and Wagner is a positive matchup for the Wolverines.
Yeah, I don't know why that's a deterring factor. I mean, Bryant
checks in at 6'10", 255. Wagner's 6'11", 240. Bryant's got a good 15 pounds on him.
And Bryant's strong down low and just 4 points, 2 of 6 from the field, but he's 2 of 3 from inside the arc. He's 0 of 3 from behind the arc. I don't know why he's settling for 3-point shots, and I don't understand Tom Crean's offense setting up with him getting the ball outside the arc.
Both teams need this win. Michigan needs to pick up their first away win, and what a big one it would be for their tournament resume. As they sit at 15-9 right now, Indiana 15-10. Their road struggle is very similar to Michigan. They are 1-5 on the road, but 13-3 at home. So Indiana can mount a comeback here. They will keep their tournament hopes alive.
Yeah, this is an Indiana team. They beat Kansas. They beat North Carolina. They have an ugly loss to Fort Wayne, and they're strongly on the bubble at 15-10.
And Deron Davis converts the and one opportunity. 38-30 now Michigan leads. Just under 15.5 here to go in the contest. Derek Walton Jr. has it. Looks over to Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson back to Derek Walton Jr. He goes, gets a screen from Wagner. Walton Jr. all the way into the lane, kicks out Duncan Robinson for 3, no good. Tipped around, rebound Wagner. Another offensive rebound for the Wolverines this half.
But they need to convert that into second chance points. I mean, you get 3, 4, 5 offensive rebounds and no second chance points. It doesn't do much for you.
Wagner has it, gets swung around to Irvin. Irvin now finds Marr. Up to Wagner at the top of the key. And there's going to be an offensive foul. Not sure on who. It'll be charged to Mo Wagner.
They're going to say he swung his hip and hit James Blackman, who's chasing Muhammad Abdur-Rahman around him.
And just as I disagreed with the refs on the Indiana call for the charge, I'm going to have to disagree with them on this one, too. Maybe a makeup call of sorts.
Yeah, it happens a lot in college basketball, and it's unfortunate. But makeup calls are just a part of the game.
Blackman Jr. has it in the corner, working with Duncan Robinson on him. Feeds it into Davis, who's been a thorn in the Wolverine side. As he just backs down Mark Donnell and lays an easy layup on the left-hand side. Mark Donnell has to get strong down low. And now the Hoosier faithful are getting into it.
Yeah, the lead down to 6. And for as much as Thomas Bryant has struggled, Davis has been just fantastic.
Robinson has it over to Derek Walton Jr. To receive the screen from Donnell. He's working all the way into the lane. Flips up and one. What a finish by Derek Walton Jr. Drawing the contact and finishing on the left-hand side.
And that play is just so exemplary of what Derek Walton has been to this team. Earlier in the first half, we saw Irvin miss 2 free throws, and that's kind of summed it up for him. That and one right there for Walton, just showing his toughness and his leadership to get to the basket.
Now DJ Wilson will sub in for Zach Irvin.
And I thought Walton on that previous possession that ended with the kick out to Duncan Robinson, he was going to finish that one himself, but he kicked that one out, and this time he does finish it himself and draws the foul.
And Derek Walton Jr. gets the free throw to go off a friendly front iron roll. Michigan leads 41-32, 13:45 to go in the game. Johnson has it. Hand off to Blackman Jr. Blackman Jr. The three rattles home, their first of the day.
And Walton quieted the crowd with that and one, but Blackman gets them right back on their feet with a huge three-pointer.
And Marr heads recklessly to the sideline and loses it out of bounds. Turnover on Michigan. It'll be Indiana ball in a 6-point ball game.
And all of a sudden now Indiana has the momentum. The crowd's in the game. And John Beeline's going to take a timeout as this one is starting to slip away.
And a good timeout here by John Beeline as the crowd is just getting into it. Indiana maybe finding their groove on offense after Davis has just wrecked the Wolverines inside, and then the first triple of the day for the Hoosiers off the hands of James Blackman Jr. brings it within a 6-point game, 41-35. Michigan leads on the road. Once again, you're listening to WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan basketball. Don't thank Evan Osterly. And you heard Leo Blavin in that first half.
Indiana's hit their last 3 shots. Deron Davis, 13 points, 4-5 from the field, 5-6 from the line, 3 rebounds in just 10 minutes.
Absolute domination by Deron Davis down low. The freshman from Aurora, Colorado, 6'10", 240. Averages 5.8 a game and only 3.1 rebounds. But he's ignoring those today.
Yeah, he's certainly been the spark in this Indiana comeback.
Michigan just has no one to match up with.
Yeah, Michigan needs to find an answer. I don't know if that's putting in a bigger guy in John Teskey, if that's switching DJ Wilson on him, but clearly something needs to change, and John Beeline recognized that and calling that timeout.
Here in Bloomington, Indiana, at Assembly Hall, storied venue to watch a college basketball game. The crowd quiet for most of the day today, but now finally getting into it, and we're getting that true Indiana Hoosiers basketball experience.
Yeah, standing up on defense, going nuts after made shots. It wasn't there in the first half as Indiana really struggled on offense, basically turning the ball over every other minute. But now that their offense is kind of settled in against the Michigan defense, Deron Davis taking over the game, the crowd is loud, there's a lot of energy in the building.
Hoosiers shooting 47% on the day, 14 of 30, but only 1 of 10 from the long line. Interesting statistic, Michigan so far has led the entirety of the game. Michigan looking to go wire to wire in this one. Close out the Hoosiers, get their first win on the road, and pick up their second win in Bloomington since 1997, with their lone win coming in 2009 by the tune of 72-66 in overtime.
Yeah, it's going to be a low-scoring game like that one was, 72 points to 66 in overtime in 2009. I mean, we could see a similar low-scoring finish here with the way both teams are shooting the ball, but Michigan,
60 points wins this game.
Yeah, I mean,
comfortably.
Michigan was shooting the ball well and only scored 35 points in the first half. They have 6 points in the first 6.5 minutes of this half. I mean,
and they didn't score any points in the final 3 minutes of the first half.
Yeah, so Michigan's got to get something going offensively. Otherwise, Indiana's going to close this gap even more.
As play resumes, Blackman has it out of bounds. Who was it last touched by? The refs are conferencing, and they're just going to call it a jump ball. Possession arrow points in favor of the Wolverines. The refs not sure if Blackman Jr. just lost it or if it was tipped out by Duncan Robinson. Let's check the replay.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't know.
It's tough to tell.
I don't know about that one. I mean,
the refs may have got this one right by calling it a jump ball, as Marr has it. He kicks it out to Wilson, who kicks it out to Duncan Robinson for 3 and down. 3 points for Duncan Robinson. Michigan back up by 9.
Just what the doctor ordered for the Wolverines, a huge 3 by Duncan Robinson to push the lead back to 9.
And that's exactly what Duncan Robinson can do, offer a huge 3-point threat to the offense. Blackman has it now, the kick out was to Bryant. The Bryant 3, no good. Rebound, Michigan. There's going to be a foul on Indiana. Not a bad foul at all.
No, and it stopped the fast break with Derek Walton and DJ Wilson. But good defense right there by the Wolverines. Muhammad Abdur-Rahman got beat by James Blackman, but DJ Wilson slid over, gave Rockman the chance to get back in position, and it ended with another Thomas Bryant 3. I mean, I just don't understand. That can't be the look that Tom Crean wants him to take.
Thomas Bryant 0-4 on 3-pointers today. Derek Walton Jr. heads up top, receives the screen from Donnell. He's working with Johnson on it. He's going to pull it back out. 15 on the shot clock. Now he gets the screen from DJ Wilson. Kick over to Wilson. Wilson pump fake, dribbles into the lane, lays it up with the right hand on the left side and in. And Michigan back up by double digits.
In the first half, Walton blew by Thomas Bryant. There, DJ Wilson blows by Thomas Bryant. Getting him trapped on the perimeter at both ends is really working well for the Wolverines.
And on the double team on Bryant in the corner, they're going to get Mark Donnell for sticking that knee out to keep him in there. Michigan leads by 11 again, 46-35, 12 minutes to go in the second half.
I mean, Thomas Bryant, probably Indiana's best player, hasn't been effective on either end. He's been forced to shoot 3-pointers, getting the ball denied from him offensively, and on defense, getting switched on and getting beat on dribble drives on the other end.
Something to watch. Michigan has 4 team fouls. As Blackman Jr. has it, he's dribbling around the yard. Finally kicks it back out to, it looks like, Jones checked into the game. Now over to Blackman Jr., back to Jones. Jones dribble drive on the left side, flips it up and in as he split a double team. Back within 10, 46-37. As Xavier Simpson, who's recently checked in, handles the ball for the Wolverines. He gets a screen from Donnell. He's working, kicks in the corner to Wilson. Wilson working, finds a cutting Duncan Robinson for an easy lay-in. What a cut by Duncan Robinson, and what a find by DJ Wilson.
And ever since that timeout by Michigan, the offense has really gotten back in the rhythm, and credit to John Beeline for fixing whatever was wrong with this offense in the first 6 minutes of the half.
Johnson has it, feeds it over to Deron Davis, who I'm sure Tom Crean would like to see get more touches. Blackman Jr. has it. He kicks it over to Jones. Jones dribble drive, kicked in the corner for Johnson. Johnson for 3 and down. Big 3 points there for Robert Johnson in the corner.
And in the first matchup between these teams at Chrysler, Robert Johnson hit some big threes down the stretch. They didn't matter because the lead was so large, but he did it the first time. See if he can do it here.
Driving and finds an open Martinelli underneath the hoop. What a job there by Xavier Simpson, finally showing he can be the player that Coach Beeline thought he would be when recruited to Michigan.
Yeah, that backup point guard role this year and the starting point guard of the future, a 4-star recruit and a key to the future of this program.
Jones has it, kicks it over to Blackman Jr. Working with Marr on him, dribble drives right side, kick out to Morgan for 3 and down. And it's contagious from outside as now the Hoosiers are 3 of 4 on their last 4 3-point attempts. 50-43, just under 10 minutes to go in the game. Xavier Simpson working on the left side. Looking, kicks it out to Duncan Robinson. Simpson eventually gets it back, gets a screen from Donnell. Xavier Simpson working crossover, tries to find a cutting DJ Wilson. And it's going to go off the leg of a Hoosier, and it will stay with Michigan. Only 7 seconds, though, on the shot clock as we have a timeout.
Michigan hit their last 5 shots. Indiana, their last 3 shots, and both teams starting to find a groove offensively. And it'll make for a fun finish, but we'll see how Michigan can respond because most of this game and most of their recent wins, they've won the games by playing stifling defense leading to turnovers. They haven't really been in a real shootout where it's down court offense on both sides, but that's what it's kind of turning into.
No, it's the shootout that some people thought it might turn into, like you said, has been absolutely stymied by poor offensive execution, whether that be on the Indiana side, Bryant going 0 of 4 from 3-point range, or it being on the Michigan side, Irvin being 1 of 7 and 0 of 4 from 3. But the 3-point shooting has picked up for the Hoosiers, something Michigan Wolverines now have to look out for. As before, they could just collapse in on any type of dribble drive and give an open 3-pointer to the Hoosiers if they weren't hitting anything.
Yeah, like you said, Indiana really making use of the dribble drive, the kickouts for 3-pointers, and that's something to watch. I mean, Indiana missing their first 9 3-pointers, but like you said, 3 of their last 4, and that's going to be dangerous if Indiana keeps making their jump shots because that was what was really keeping Michigan in front for a lot of this game is Indiana just couldn't buy a 3-point make, and now that they're going down, the lead is single digits, 1 or 10 minutes, the crowd is in the game, and it's a whole different feel right now.
And that's maybe the biggest thing for this comeback is getting the crowd back into it. It can certainly play an effect on any team visiting Assembly Hall.
Yeah, the largest student section in the country and one of the toughest places to play college basketball. They lost here earlier this week to Purdue. They certainly need this win. Both teams do. Michigan sitting at 15-9, Indiana 15-10. Both teams firmly on the bubble. As we look ahead to the NCAA tournament, this could make or break either team's season.
It certainly could. A win here for Michigan could propel them to wins in the near future at home against Wisconsin, at Minnesota, at Rutgers, home to Purdue, home to at Northwestern, and they finish it out at Nebraska. So a win here would go a long way on their tournament resume.
Yeah, and I think they need to win one of those 2 home games against Wisconsin and Purdue, the 2 best teams in the Big Ten. I think they absolutely need one of those wins to go their way.
Irvin will be inbounding with only 7 on the shot clock. They get to DJ Wilson. DJ Wilson has to jump up for a down right hook off the glass and in. Nice play there by DJ Wilson to go up, get that ball, come down with it, and then get the lay-in. So McRoberts is now checked into the game. And an entry pass into Bryant, too wide out of the hands of Jawan Morgan. Turnover, Michigan ball. That will be the 13th turnover of the day for the Hoosiers.
Great patience by DJ Wilson on that last offensive possession. And then another bad turnover for Indiana. They've been much better in this half about it, but if they start turning the ball over, it's going to be a rough finish for them.
Xavier Simpson now all the way into the lane with a beautiful hesitation move for an easy right-handed layup. froze Bryant, the rim protector. And Michigan now back up 11.
Xavier Simpson's 2 best games of the season coming in a big time for the Wolverines to 2 must-wins.
And it looks like we have a double foul. Looks like they're going to call it on Bryant and DJ Wilson. Getting a little too physical in that paint.
And this hasn't been the scrappiest of games, but there's been some contact down low. I mean, Thomas Bryant hasn't really been much of a factor, but that was a clear foul on somebody. I mean, it looked like they got tangled up, and it looks like at least Bryant fouled. I don't know what that was on DJ Wilson.
The refs playing it safe here, just going the double foul. Something to check out, though, the Wolverines are at 5 team fouls. 2 more, and the Hoosiers will be in the bonus. Michigan also, though, on a 7-for-7 field goal streak recently. The offense certainly picking up.
Yeah, pushing the lead back above double digits and some Indiana turnovers. Again, fueling a run for the Wolverines.
Newkirk has it up top. 10 on the shot clock. He's one-on-one with Xavier Simpson. He works, trying to go right lane all the way in, lays it up short, no good. Rebound, Wagner, and he's going to get fouled on the rebound.
That was excellent one-on-one defense by Xavier Simpson. I mean, just
as good as you can for someone who checks in officially at 6 foot, but I don't even know if I'm buying that he's 6 foot.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the height, but he's got that bulldog mentality at both ends. He drives to the hoop, gets an easy layup, and then he comes down and just fantastic perimeter defense.
Derek Walton Jr. has it. He works, dribbles to the right, kicks out to DJ Wilson. DJ Wilson drives back middle, fadeaway 15-footer and down. Michigan 8 of 8 on their last 8 field goals.
And DJ Wilson feeling it now. Lead is tied for their largest of the day at 13, and Tom Crean's going to take a timeout because he feels this one slipping away.
Yeah, Crean can't let this one get too out of hand. With 8:23 to go, Michigan find themselves up 13 by the score of 56-43. 6-0 run in the last minute 16, and they've made on 8 consecutive field goals.
Yeah, Indiana, just 3 turnovers this half, which has been a big win, but the 3 that they've had have come at bad times, and Michigan right now, everybody just feeling it. Xavier Simpson, TJ Wilson, sparking a run from the Wolverines, and if those guys are beating you, if you're Indiana, you kind of have to just say, okay, it's not Derek Walton, it's not Mo Wagner, the guys who have led this team in scoring, and they're making tough contested shots. They're playing excellent defense. Tom Crean obviously going to try to concoct some remedy for the last 8:23 for his team to try to get back in this game, but Michigan, with a lead that got down to 6, early in the second half, now back up to 13 and in control of this game once again.
And they are back to shooting 50% on the day from the floor. But Xavier Simpson, has played 10 minutes, and what meaningful minutes they have been for the Wolverines. Only 2 points, a rebound, and 2 assists. But the way he's been running this offense, that dribble drive, which he was so dangerous with in high school, and that's what got him to the University of Michigan. Finally, after 24 games, he's starting to showcase that craftiness to get inside, and that's got to make the Michigan faithful happy for the future.
Yeah, that 2 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, it feels like such an understatement of what he's provided this team, and he had his best game of the season against Michigan State on Tuesday, but he's equaling that performance here on the road at Indiana, and if he can continue this down the stretch, that's a fantastic sign for the Wolverines. We talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast about the role Spike Albert has played in the past, backing up Trey Burke and Derek Walton. And with Spike leaving the program this year, it was a big hole to fill. And Simpson, he had a learning curve, but it seems like he might finally be riding up that learning curve and becoming a key player on this team.
It will be Indiana ball. McRoberts triggering from the near sideline. Michigan leads 56-43, 8:23 to go in this contest. You're listening to WCBN FM Ann Arbor Sports' call of Michigan men's basketball. Newkirk has it. He feeds it over to Bryant. Bryant now has it, kicks it out to Johnson. Johnson for three, no good. Rebound Xavier Simpson. He's leading the break. Over to Zach Irvin. Zach Irvin for three. Doesn't even grab rim, off the opposite side of the backboard. And like you said, Zach Irvin just needs to stop shooting. It's Thomas Bryant all the way in. Only one back, Xavier Simpson. That's a matchup Bryant is going to win every single time. 2 points for the Hoosiers, 56-43. 7:45 to go.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Zach Irvin, but it's hurting this team. I mean, that was just an ugly shot. And a good look in transition that other guys on this team have hit today. I feel bad for him, but he's just got to stop shooting.
Now Derek Walton Jr. with a man in his face for three, no good. McSwain Jr. has checked in for the Hoosiers. Johnson all the way in, kicks it to McSwain Jr., and he lays it off the rim. Timeout working wonders for Tom Crean as they score 4 in a row. Michigan leads now 56-47. It's a 9-point game.
And we saw Beeline call a timeout earlier and fix his offense. Tom Crean doing the same for his here.
Zach Irvin has it at the wing, kicks out to Derek Walton Jr. Derek Walton Jr. feeds it into DJ Wilson, who has McRoberts on. DJ Wilson working. Fadeaway jumper, tough shot, air ball, rebound McSwain. Now the Hoosiers pick it up. Johnson along the left side, working, kicks out to Newkirk. Newkirk dribble back to Johnson. Johnson for three, front iron no good. Rebound, Derek Walton Jr.
That would have been a very big three-pointer for Indiana. That one could have set this crowd off.
Michigan dodging a theoretical bullet there. Derek Walton Jr. has it, gets it to DJ Wilson. Top of the three-point line. Hand off to Derek Walton Jr. as he dribbles into Thomas, and Thomas just rejects that out. Looks like 8 seconds remain on the shot clock. It'll be Michigan's ball on the baseline.
Yeah, good defense by Thomas Bryant. Not a bad drive by Walton, but Michigan needs the bucket here. The lead is down to single digits. They haven't scored in the last 209 and missed their last 4 field goals after hitting 8 in a row. So it's a big possession right here. Big 8 seconds for Michigan.
We have a foul before the inbounds pass. It looks like it's going to be going on Thomas Bryant. That'll be his 4th, team 6th. So next on Bryant, he'll be out of the game. And next on the Hoosiers, Michigan will be in the bonus as Bryant will go to the bench. But it doesn't get any easier for Michigan as Deron Davis checks in for him.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if that's even a win for the Wolverines because Deron Davis has been Indiana's best player today, significantly better offensively than Thomas Bryant.
That foul resets the shot clock. It's a fresh 30 for the Wolverines as Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman has it up top. He's working, now receives the screen from DJ Wilson. Kicks over to Derek Walton Jr. Derek Walton Jr. draws a foul on James Blackman Jr., and DWJ will be shooting 1 and 1. Smart move there by the senior. Michigan, though, not great from the line today. Only 4 of 7 to the tune of 57%.
Big 1 and 1 here for Derek Walton.
The front end is pure as he gets nothing but net. Extends the lead back to 10. Michigan up 57-47. 6:04 here to go in the second half.
And that free throw by Walton broke a 2.5-minute scoring drought for the Wolverines.
And the second one tickles the twine. Michigan up 11 as Zach Irvin checks in for Duncan Robinson. John Beeline not losing faith in one of his 2 seniors.
Beeline basically has to go through the trade-off of Robinson's offense or Irvin's defense.
Blackman has it, feeds it over to McSwain, who feeds it into Deron Davis. Deron Davis turns, had nowhere to go with it, and just steps out of bounds. Turnover to the Wolverines. Indiana Hoosiers' 14th turnover of the day.
Crean.
Sorry, go ahead.
Crean calling for a full court press from his Hoosiers down double digits with just over 5.5 minutes to go.
And the most telling stat that I see on the stat sheet, 14 turnovers for the Hoosiers. Michigan, 18 points off those turnovers. DJ Wilson now for 3, back iron, no good. Rebound there Blackman Jr. as he leads the charge. He gets all the way to the rim and pinned against the backboard by DJ Wilson. The pass tipped out of bounds by, I believe, Newkirk. He'll stay with the Wolverines, but what a play by DJ Wilson.
Yeah, great hustle to get back in transition after his missed three, and a great block by DJ Wilson. And like you were talking about, the 18 points off turnovers for the Wolverines, they've had several scoring droughts. I mean, right now, haven't made a field goal in the last 3 times. They've missed their last 5, but those points off turnovers, the difference in this game right now for Michigan.
(58-47), 5:17 to go in the game. Derek Walton Jr. brings it up. Starting lineups are out there for the Wolverines. Zach Urban has it over to Wagner. Wagner now swings it all the way around to DJ Wilson, back up top to Wagner. Over to Urban on the left corner, finds a cutting Wagner who lays it up and in. Nice play there by the Wolverines. Some good ball movement off some screens.
Yeah, an excellent offense to break a long field goal drought for Michigan.
Newkirk has it up top. He's working with Irvin on. Dribbles in, now just pulls back out. 11-10 on the shot clock. He works, tries to go right lane, lays it up and in. Zach Irvin just simply got beat. And now timeout, Indiana, as Tom Crean is more likely than not setting up a trap press of some sort. That layup ending a 2.5-minute scoring drought for the Hoosiers. Michigan up 60-49, 4:33 to go in the game.
Yeah, Michigan leading by 11 here, and they've withstood every charge Indiana's delivered in the second half. We're going to see one more with the full court press here. Indiana going to try one more time as some of the fans filtering out with a double-digit lead under 5 minutes, but this game is far from over. Indiana's hit some shots in the second half. They've made 3 3-pointers, but they're going to have to force some turnovers. If I'm John Beilein in that Michigan huddle, I am just harping on ball control, not turning the ball over, taking as long as you can in possessions while still getting good shots. And if they can do those things, they should be able to hold on to it.
A pretty good turnover day thus far for the Wolverines. Only 8 in Indiana, only getting 6 points off of those turnovers. So, Bryant, something to note, Thomas Bryant is back in. It looks like they're going to ride him out for this final 4.5 minutes. Starting lineups for the Wolverines. As Marr gets it in, and it was kicked there by Devontae Green, who's guarding the inbounds pass. Fresh 5 seconds on the baseline for Marr.
If I'm Tom Crean, I would want Deron Davis in this game, the way he's played. But
he gets it in to Derek Walton Jr. Now it looks like the press will back off. Derek Walton Jr. gets it across the timeline. Kicks it over to Marr on the right side. He gets a screen from DJ Wilson. Now over to Walton Jr. Walton Jr. working middle of the floor. 10 on the shot clock now. Derek Walton Jr. has it. He works. Step back. Oh, finds an open Mo Wagner, and he gets fouled underneath by, trying to get a number, it looks like it would be 21, Freddie McSwain Jr., as Mo Wagner with a heck of a cut underneath the basket, as it looked like Derek Walton Jr. was going to try a step-back jumper. Last second found the big German underneath, and he's going to have 2 free throws coming up.
yeah, great find by Derek Walton. Great patience offensively.
Pure on the first one from Mo Wagner.
And if Indiana wants to get back in this game in the final 4 minutes, they have to make 3-point shots and they have to force turnovers. There's just no way around it because Michigan has been extremely efficient the last 10 minutes or so in the half-court offensive game.
The second rims in and out, no good. Michigan up by 12. 4 minutes to go in the game, 61-49. Michigan leads at Assembly Hall. Morgan has it. He's working with DJ Wilson on him. Tries to get all the way into the lane. DJ Wilson follows him, but the ball rattles in for an and one. Not even sure how he got that ball off, but Juwan Morgan gets an and one opportunity as we're going to come out of the under 4 media timeout. Michigan leads 61-51, 3:52 to go in the game.
What a move by Juwan Morgan, beating DJ Wilson, and he'll have a chance to cut the lead to single digits after this media timeout with the free throw. And Indiana now in the bonus, Michigan with 6 fouls, so they'll be shooting 1-and-1s. Free throws for both teams the rest of the way.
DJ Wilson allowing Morgan to get inside. Wilson maybe relying on his size and athleticism to get another block at the backboard. But Morgan did a nice job using his body to shield off Wilson. He gets, as I said, the and one opportunity to bring this one back within 10.
I just want to go back to how critical the turnovers and the points off turnovers have been. Indiana leading the rebounding battle 26-25, basically even there. Indiana shooting 50% from the field, Michigan 46% from the field. Michigan's made 7 free throws, Indiana's made 6 free throws. I mean, it's basically even across the board. 6 fast break points for Indiana, 5 for the Wolverines. And Indiana's scored more points at the point, Michigan's hit more threes. Even across the board, aside from the turnover battle.
Michigan getting outscored in the paint 36-26. 13 of those 36, though, coming from Deron Davis, who I'm very surprised to see the Hoosiers get away from the second half.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, Tom Crean has James Blackman Jr. on the bench. He has just 3 points on 1 of 6 shooting. So he's obviously not afraid to bench a starter in favor of a player who's having a better game. I just don't understand. Thomas Bryant, 6 points, 3 of 8 from the field. He has 4 fouls. Whereas Deron Davis, 13 points, 4 of 5 from the field in just 14 minutes.
Yeah, especially with the foul trouble Bryant's been in. Michigan doesn't seem to have an answer for Deron Davis down low. But Tom Crean maybe just not recognizing that from his seat.
Well, Michigan's answer has been Tom Crean keeping him on the bench, if there is an answer.
Yeah, that's been Michigan's best defense thus far of Deron Davis. So, just a reminder, coming out of this timeout, we will have 1 free throw coming for Juwan Morgan. Michigan leads 61-51, 3:52 to go in the ball. Michigan, in case you haven't heard on this broadcast, is still seeking their first road win of the year. Bryant, Green, Johnson, and I believe Newkirk will be accompanying Morgan on the floor for the Hoosiers. Walton Jr., Marr, Irvin, Wagner, and Wilson for the Wolverines.
Starters in for Michigan and starters minus James Blackman for the Indiana Hoosiers as we finish out a potentially season-defining stretch for both teams. Last 4 minutes.
And 1 opportunity. Front iron, no good. Rebound there, Mo Wagner. Give him 9 on the day. Because Derek Walton Jr. will have it and will certainly look to take off time here. Kick over to Marr on the left side. Now to Irvin, now to Wagner. Wagner go working. He goes step back jumper, no good. Ball tipped around, rebound there by Green. Green pushing the break. All the way to, Johnson. Johnson misses the 3-pointer. Indiana rebound. Johnson now has it. He works all the way in. He flips it up off the glass and in. Johnson atones for his miss by getting a tough lay in there. 61-53, Michigan leads.
And the Wolverines are not going to be able to run out this clock. They're 1 of their last 7 from the field. They need a bucket here, up by just 8. Now just under 3 minutes to go.
And Zach Irvin passes it to Marr, who wasn't looking, but ricocheted off a couple of bodies and into the hands of a waiting Derek Walton Jr. He has now working. He has Bryant on him. Step back, 15-footer, front iron, and hangs on the front rim and falls in. Michigan back up by 10, 63-53, 2.5 to go.
And just another great moment from Walton.
As Johnson tries to dribble drive from right to left, can't lay it in. Rebound Michigan. As Michigan will look to get this one below the 2-minute mark.
Walton 17-4-4, and he's coming through in a big way again for this team, as he has all season. Senior leader, He's just been so fantastic for Michigan.
He's working with Johnson. Gets the screen from Wilson. Kicks to Wilson. Wilson now all the way into the lane. Flips it up and in after he had to avoid a streaking Bryant trying to block the shot. Good athletic play there by DJ Wilson. As now the ball gets tipped around and now out of bounds. Last off Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman. It'll be Indiana ball with 21 seconds on the shot clock. 1:51 on the game clock as Michigan leads by 12.
And now the crowd really finally out. A couple of excellent possessions on offense by the Michigan Wolverines. A clutch mid-range jumper from Walton that rattled in, and then Wilson got to the basket for what should be the daggers for this Michigan Wolverines team.
Blackman Jr. has it. He's working with DJ Wilson on. He picks up his dribble, kicks it over to Bryant. Bryant now has on the corner, working with Wagner on. He goes up with the shot. Wagner's going to be called with a foul. That's his fourth. 2 free throws upcoming for Thomas Bryant, a 72% career free throw shooter.
This holds, it's going to be a really tough loss for Indiana at home. Push their record to 15-11 on the year. 2 home losses this week to Purdue and potentially Michigan, and puts a real damper on their tournament hopes as they basically are going to need to win out after this.
First free throw from Bryant was good. 65-54, now the Michigan lead. The second is good. Back to a 10-point lead for the Wolverines. A minute and a half here to go in the game. So looks like Indiana's bringing a trap press. Marr has it on the right side, kicks it back to Derek Walton Jr. as he brings it across the timeline. Beating the press all the way in for a layup and swatted away there, though, by Bryant. He's going to go out of bounds. They're going to say it last went off Indiana, but I fully expect the refs to maybe take a look at this on the TVs.
Yeah, I couldn't really see who that ball went off last. But
initially, I thought that was the first call. It looked like Indiana was the one that forced it out, but I guess the question here is, did it maybe glance off a Michigan defender's leg as it was leaving the area of play?
Yeah, and I'm not sure why Derek Walton felt the need to go up for that layup with 20 seconds on the shot clock, basically. I mean, you get the ball across half court, you break the press, you're up by 10 under a minute and a half. Let the shot clock run out.
You couldn't see off the replay. They showed it very quickly. I don't know if they'll show it again.
Well, it definitely didn't hit Derek Walton, so it just depends on whether it hit Mo Wagner going out of bounds.
In the middle of it. And like you said, not sure why Derek Walton Jr. didn't just dribble that around. You're better off, instead of even getting the 2, just taking off an extra 20 seconds and getting this thing under a minute up by 10.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Unnecessary there. He's had a great game, though. Give all the credit in the world to Derek Walton for coming through once again for this team. One of 3 Wolverines in double figures, the others being DJ Wilson with 13 points, Mo Wagner with 11.
Derek Walton Jr. leads all scorers in this one with 17, as Davis is the team high scorer for the Hoosiers with 13. And the referees are still checking it out. And they're going to rule it Indiana basketball. Must have went off Mo Wagner last. So it'll be Hoosiers ball, down 10, 65-55 with a minute 18 to go in the contest. Looking to keep their NCAA tournament hopes alive.
Deron Davis still on the bench for Indiana.
Newkirk has it along the right wing. He's working, kicks it out to Johnson. Johnson now dribble drive in, passes it to Roberts, who misses and puts it back up. Excuse me, that was Morgan. And a quick inbound to Derek Walton Jr. And he is fouled up near half court. And they will be shooting, or excuse me, Derek Walton Jr. will be shooting 1-and-1. with 58 seconds to go. Indiana now down only 8.
Yeah, critical 1-1 here for Derek Walton Jr.
Michigan electing no rebounders in there. The first one up and in for Derek Walton Jr. Give him 18. Now looking for his 19th point of the afternoon. And he finds it. Michigan is now back up 10, 67-57. 57 seconds to go.
Yeah, Indiana running
and tipped away by Derek Walton Jr., and he's going to cruise in for an easy layup, and that will just about do it here from Assembly Hall as we see some fans now heading for the exit. Heck of a play there by Derek Walton Jr.
Yeah, I was about to say Indiana running out of time, and then Derek Walton really delivered the dagger with that steal and score.
And it looks like we're going to get a foul on Mo Wagner. That'll be his 5th. Duncan Robinson looks like we'll be checking in for him. There's now a mass exodus towards the exit. Derek Walton Jr. appears to be waving goodbye to the crowd on the floor. He is certainly making the most of the second half of his senior season, carrying this Wolverines team to some much-needed victories down the stretch.
Yeah, he is. I mean, just every big game he's shown up, wins and losses. Derek Walton has been extremely consistent in playing the best basketball of his career.
Juwan Morgan to shoot 1-1 for the Hoosiers. He misses the first one, tipped, rebound there by McSwain, and he's going to get it in. Quick inbounds to Derek Walton Jr. as he gets fouled instantly. Hoosiers still down 10, 69-59, 40 seconds to play here in this one. In a contest that is almost all but over.
And double bonus for the rest of the way for Michigan is that's Indiana's 10th team foul.
At the line is number 10, Derek Walton.
First one from Derek Walton Jr. is good. He is shooting his 6th and 7th free throw attempts today. The second from DWJ is up and good. Now Xavier Simpson will check in for Duncan Robinson, looking for maybe a little perimeter defense here, as some desperation threes are about the only hope that the Hoosiers have. As Newkirk has it, he hands it off to Jones. Jones now dribbling around, spins into the lane, flips it up, foul on, I believe, Wilson. The shot was no good. 2 free throws upcoming for Curtis Jones. (71-59), 29 seconds now to go in the game.
2 free throws for Indiana. After 2 over to go.
And looking ahead for the Wolverines, this win will put them at 16-10 on the season, but still work to be done to make the NCAA tournament. We've talked about the 2 home games against Wisconsin and Purdue. Probably need to win one of those and at least split the remaining road games.
And a little offense defenses. John Beeline puts Duncan Robinson back in for Xavier Simpson. The first was good, the second no good, and Johnson is going to foul Zach Irvin. And a pair of Zach Irvin free throws coming. And he needs these.
It'd be a good confidence booster moving forward. I mean, Irvin, 1 of 8 from the field today, 0 of 5 from behind the arc, 1 of 3 from the line. Does have 2 rebounds and 3 assists, but another rough day shooting the ball for Zach Irvin.
First one, nothing but net. And it's Lonergan time here in Indiana. Sean Lonergan checking in for Duncan Robinson. Good to see old 2-0 out on the floor for the Maize and Blue. And the second is up and good as Looks like Evie Watson now will be checking in for Zach Irvin. And the inbounds now to Jones. Jones brings it up. He's looking. Works right side, kicks out to Newkirk. Newkirk for three, front iron, no good. Rebound Johnson. Johnson now kicks it out. Blackman Jr. for three is good. Too little, too late. As Freddie McSwain Jr. will foul Derek Walton Jr. with 10 seconds left. Michigan is up 10. Academic at this point. Derek Walton Jr. will be shooting too.
I don't think it can be overstated how important Derek Walton has been to this team
No, not
in
at
Big
all.
Ten play. I mean, we've talked about the shooting struggles of Zach Irvin. At times, Mo Wagner and DJ Wilson have been phenomenal. At times, just okay. Mohamed Abdur-Rahman, consistent but not exceptional. The bench hasn't produced much. It's gotten better in recent games, but Derek Walton has just been outstanding, and he's going to have to continue that level of play for Michigan to be successful down the stretch and make the NCAA tournament.
And Derek Walton Jr. will hit both of his free throws, and his day is done. He's going to finish with 25 points. What a performance. Is now Newkirk is just going to dribble it out. A quick three and rebound there by Marr. And that'll do it. Michigan picks up their first road win of the season here at Assembly Hall, downing the Hoosiers by the tune of 75-63. U of M once again was 1-15 coming into Bloomington, first win since 1997. How did they do it, Evan?
Some hot three-point shooting in the first half, and then just some consistent offense in the second half. It started out rough, but just calm and collected play by Derek Walton down the stretch. Once again, keyed this team to victory. And you look at the point differential off of turnovers, 20 points off turnovers for the Wolverines. That was easily the biggest key of the game is the rebounding battle. Pretty even for both sides. Field goal percentage is pretty even. Forced turnovers off of tip passes. Just great credit to Billy Donlan's defense.
It seems like a rhetorical question at this point, but who's the player of the game?
It's Derek Walton. I mean,
Exactly.
25 points. He made all his free throws, 5 rebounds, 4 assists.
He did everything, logging 36 minutes. Unbelievable performance.
He just willed this team to this victory, their first road victory of the season, and a crucial one to say the least.
And on that note, we will head out of our broadcast and on our way back to Ann Arbor. Once again, Michigan wins 75-63, and I will leave you with a good night and a Go Blue.